What's up, everyone? Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training, and this is Thirsty Thursdays, episode 52, a dog training Q&A. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to join in. Feel free to ask questions about dog training, as many as you want. And we are here for a good 45 minutes to an hour. What's up, Rachel? So feel free to ask as many as you want. Again, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. So let's get this party started because we've got some questions to answer. Feel free. Just the subject of this Thirsty Thursdays will be dog fighting. Since I've gotten actually about 3 or 4 different people inquiring about dog training, all talking about their dogs fighting in the home. So we will go over that, all right, when questions get a little slow or stale. But you guys will be the priority. If you ask a question in the middle of me answering or talking about dog fighting, I will answer your question. I will stop, pause, and answer you guys' questions. So feel free to chime in. But let me get to a few questions first, and then, like I said, if we don't have any questions by then we will we'll go into the subject. All right, let's do it. All right. Okay, we had hold on. Okay, here we go. Where'd that question go? There we go. My dog is growling at my 3-year-old when my 3-year-old hugs her, especially at night. She allows the rest of us to hug her, but when the 3-year-old hugs her, it results in a growl, which scares me because I don't know if she will go any further than the growl. Any tips on how to prevent or how to break that? Yeah. What I would do is a couple of things. First and foremost, evaluate if your dog actually likes to be hugged. Just because the dog tolerates it from you guys doesn't mean the dog likes it or enjoys it. You may enjoy it more than the dog. If the dog doesn't seek it, meaning comes to you and then you hug the dog and it actually maybe even comes back for more, then that would be a sign that your dog doesn't like to be hugged like that. So I wouldn't, some dogs don't like affection, I'm not going to really give them affection if they don't like it. Secondly, again, I would even treat it the same way with your daughter, your 3-year-old. I would not allow your 3-year-old to do that if it's not something the dog can handle. I would just tell your 3-year-old to leave the dog alone. And until maybe the dog can get more comfortable with the 3-year-old. But if that was my dog, I would, sort of get on to the dog for growling as well, because I do want the dog to know that, that's not acceptable behavior. Now, there are going to be people who say, if you correct the growling, the dog's going to not growl anymore but bite. But I don't think that that's necessarily true. I correct growling or I just step in and intervene in that moment. So either the dog gets to walk away, or I shoo the dog away at that moment, or I would stop the baby from, or the 3-year-old from sort of just putting herself on the dog. So, yeah, that's what I would do. I wouldn't tolerate growling once again, but at the same time, I'm not going to do anything that my dog doesn't necessarily like. It just depends on the personality. Some dogs can handle it. Some dogs can't don't want to handle it. And that's when I would draw the line. All right? Thank you for your question. All right, folks, those of you who just joined in, YouTube and or Facebook Live, feel free to ask questions. This is a dog training Q&A. once again, once we have a break out of a question, I'll answer about one more, and if we still have a break from questions, then I will go into the subject. It is a lengthy subject, and then if you have any questions about that certain subject, you can go ahead and ask. Once again, I've had a few people call me this week about the same issue, so I decided that this would probably be a good time to talk about it because we haven't done that in a while. All right. Cheers, you guys. If anyone drinking out there, cheers to you. All right. One more question. Cheers, Amy. What's your opinion about the dog that attacked the family because... Sorry, this question is not complete. Sorry, Emily, your question is a little unclear. You'll have to ask it again. I don't know what happened there, but it stopped. I don't even know about any dog in the news anyway. But was there something bad that happened with the dog? Cheers, Josh. I'm not sure, but I'll go to the next one. All right. My dog gets bored with his toys and will start tearing up stuff around the house. Is that a puppy thing, 9 months, or an issue? Yes, completely a puppy thing. I would go about... I will go about keeping play to a minimum inside with a puppy. Start teaching the dog calm energy inside. Also... let him get his energy outside. Let him get his energy outside, not so much inside. And when you can't watch him, then put a leash on him, let him drag a line, or put him in a crate or something like that. Just don't let a lot of unsupervised time go with you inside, because that's when he'll get into stuff. So pretty simple. Just watch him more, teach him more. All right. Thank you for your question. All right, we might as well get into it. Dogs are fighting. Help. 5 months and 5 years. Okay. Tell me what they're fighting over. See, that's the thing about dog fighting. It is always over something. People call me and say they don't know what it's over. It's out of nowhere. I don't know what triggered them, but it's always for a reason. Always. And so it's very, very important to evaluate just how much freedom of choice that the dogs are having inside the home in the area where they're messing up, no matter what it is. Okay? And you have to provide more structure wherever they misbehave, no matter if it's fighting, no matter if it's barking, biting, chewing, whatever it is. You have to add more structure in that environment, and the fights will improve, if not become fixed. Okay, so I'll tell you a little story about dogs fighting. One is 2 years. The instigator is 1 year old over me, or because one growled at the other, never a toy or food near them. Okay, let me read that again. Dogs fighting. One is 2 years. The instigator is a 1-year-old, usually over me, or because one growled at the other, never over a toy or food near them. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of dogs fight over attention. A lot of dogs fight over food, toys, attention, space. Here's another one that people really miss sometimes, though, is once they fought, right? Once your dog's gotten to that initial scuffle, the relationship is damaged between the two dogs. The trust is damaged between the two dogs. And so it doesn't take much at all after that for some dogs to engage in it. That's when it looks like nothing. When it looks like nothing, it is because one is very uncomfortable with the other's presence being around it. And if anything feels similar to what happened the first time, you may get that reaction. So it's also from a relationship standpoint that you must focus your energy on too. You must focus why or how to prepare the relationship. I'm gonna tell you a little story because this is gonna help out. I trained 2 big Rottweiler males that would fight constantly. And they're older, about 3 or 4. And I brought them out to my place. I went on a little pack walk with one of them. And you could tell that one was so on their toes with the other because he would side-eye that dog just anytime the dog would even get near him. You know, we'd be walking this way, kind of walking this way. The dog would kind of go like this, one of the dogs, and then the other dog would kind of be like, you know. So you could tell already that one was an intention, you know, super wanting all the attention, and the other probably got agitated, and you know, that's why, you know, they decided to get into it. But then after that, it wasn't much that had to be presented for them to get into it, to fight over and over again. Now, here's a few things that are going to help with dogs that are fighting. First and foremost, when you have dogs that are fighting, you have to gain the ability to only show affection at one dog, one at a time. So that means you pet one dog, and the other dog must be able to listen to you. Period. If you can't do that, then you will have dogs that will continue to fight. You must be able to pet one dog at a time, and then the other dog will be coming, barreling over. You must have the ability to say, go on, go lay down, or something like that, and the dog listen to you. If you can't do that, if you can't bend down and pet one dog at a time, then you will have trouble. Simple as that. You should always be able to pet one dog at a time, on your terms too. That's the other thing. Okay, so I'm just going to map out some boundaries that you should be able to do, or you should do, in order to prevent fights. And that's one of the ways. One of the things you always want to keep in mind. Obviously, dogs get jealous for attention, and then they get irritable if there's spatial sort of, if they're spatially sensitive, right? It's like 2 kids saying, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. And they decide to fight. So that's first and foremost. All right. You must be able to pet one dog at a time. They got to listen to you. Period. Okay? So, another big factor that is going to be tough for a lot of people is when you walk in the door from being away or at work, and they come rushing at you, you must be able to get them calm. You must be able to not just ignore them, but get them to do something. Okay? Because again, what is that? What is getting them to do something? That's structure, right? What I just said earlier, I said you must provide structure in areas where things can go wrong. Usually, dogs that get jealous can fight over your attention when they want it the most. And when do they want it the most? When you walk in the door. So when you walk in the door from being gone and they get hyper, you must give them something to do that they must do. If they're not in the crate, That's what. Then I would suggest you go put them on their bed, not on the couch or anything like that. No furniture, but they must go to a dog bed. They must be given something to do that they have to do. Okay. And for you guys who don't know how to get that done or how to start, I got a ton of videos on YouTube specifically on how to get your dog to go to his bed when you want. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have any questions, guys. Okay. Obviously, you guys want me to still talk about fighting. Hold on. Got a question. When I get dog leash out, my dog always gets too excited and runs and picks up a shoe, socks, etc. Comes back to me. How do I stop it? Just like what I just said, you should be able to pick up the leash and go sit on the couch, wait till the dog gets bored, and he goes lays down somewhere else, and then leash the dog up once it's in a down. Okay, that's how you can take the anticipation away. Now, so you may have to take some time to do that. Like 5 or 10 minutes. Pick up the leash and go sit down on the couch, and just wait the dog out. Or you can speed up the process by actually telling the dog to go lay down, or something like that. All right. Or put the leash on and then sit on the couch. But anyway, to sort of dissolve that anticipation is the way to go. Because if it only means that the dog is going to go now go on a walk, then you're building a reactionary dog. Period. All right. All right. Back to dog fighting. So we've covered that you must be able to pet one dog at a time. That's one. Secondly, you must be able to get dogs to be calm when they are craving your attention the most, which is walking in the door or whatever that may be. If you know someone's going home, say you're home and your husband wants to come in, or vice versa, you must still be able to control that situation, because it could potentially be a fight. Excuse me. That happens. You must be able to get them calm when you want. That's the biggest thing. There's different ways of getting that, but that's the biggest key on helping dogs build a friendly relationship. Now, with those two Rotties, what I really help them focus on is those two things. That's it. And now you see, those dogs she sends me videos of those dogs playing again. Like they never played before because of the mistrust. But because they had structure in the most crucial areas, then the relationship can start to repair and they can have fun again with each other. That's it. Okay. What's the best way to keep them calm? Give them something to do, man. That place command is crucial for that, right? When you walk in the door, go lay down right away. When you walk in the door, place. That's it. You shouldn't ever give your dog what your dog wants, unless it's calm, and that's going to take time. I know some people out there are going to feel guilty about taking that time because you maybe have been gone to work for a while, but in the long run, it's going to help your dog figure out how to get what it wants, and being calm is that way. Not thinking the world revolves around them, because if you walk in the door and you pay attention, then they're thinking the world revolves around them, and they're allowed to be pushy, to be to act how they want, and because you will cater to that behavior, that hyper behavior. So go through a checklist on how much your dog gets to. So, all right, I'll end that point there. Now, here's another sort of tip. Go through a mental checklist on how much your dog inside the house or wherever it's fighting, but mostly inside the house, how much does your dog get to dictate when it gets affection, when it gets attention, when it goes outside, when it gets to be fed, when it wants treats, all those things. How much do you actually get to decide when it goes outside? when it gets affection, when it gets to be allowed to be on the couch, when how much of the dog's life is up to him in the want category, right? We're talking about in the want, not in the need. You should always provide what the dog needs, but in the want category. And usually that's where we think the happiness lies. So how much of what the dog wants is up to him? Because that is going to help your dog stay humble. If you can start allowing the dog to accommodate to you and what you want versus everything the dog wants. Because when you're building that pretentious mindset in that dog, the dog says, I can make all these choices because I've dictated how much affection I get, when I get it. When I want attention, I get it. When I want on the couch, I get it. When I want treats, I can get that. When I want this, I can get that. So what's to stop me from doing what in my opinion, the dog's not going to know a behavior is wrong until we really hold them accountable for acting that way. Because is it wrong for them to fight? There's plenty of children that get into big trouble, but it's because they don't think it's worth it for them not to do it. I really think that's a very powerful thing. We don't go out and steal because we don't think it's worth it. But if there was no consequences, there'd be a whole bunch of stealing. Do I drive a Harley? I do. So again, evaluate how much, how pushy, how sassy your dog is. If your dog is getting into trouble, you want to cut through. You want to get a grip on how much sassiness is going on and be tougher on them. Because if they have to listen often, they're going to more likely listen to you when it really counts, which is, for a lot of people, when dogs fight. Okay? So that's on the whole relationship side, and that's the stronger side, that's the primary side. Now, when I'm having two dogs that need to repair their relationship, there is no toys laying around. Okay? There is no bones laying around. There's nothing that's going to potentially ruin their relationship until they are completely okay with each other. All right? Because it is my belief that every dog can coexist. Not every dog will get along with each other. Not every dog will, I shouldn't say that. Not every dog will love each other. Okay? But they can learn to respect each other through you guys. Your leadership. If they're fighting, your leadership has to step up. Period. Your dogs have to listen to you. But that takes work. Unfortunately, that takes work from us. And that takes things that we may not want to do. And it may take things that the dogs don't perceive as being fun. But you have to do that because you've allowed unchecked behavior go on for so long to the point where they think it's okay to get violent with each other. And don't take it lightly, because fighting you can get hurt. Like, there's plenty of people that have been hospitalized breaking over a dog fight. So it's not something to take lightly. But it is on you to fix it. It's on everyone who handles the dogs to fix it. Okay? So again, your focus should be, yes, maybe you will have to separate them for a while. But I always do a nice pack walk to help rebuild their relationship. There's nothing like taking dogs outside off leash, and if you can't get your dogs off leash, get a line, get 2 long leashes so that you can, you know, get your dogs to come or not run away. But a good pack walk is, in my opinion, the best way to rebuild a relationship between dogs. Why? Because you don't have to worry about any spatial issues in the house. You don't have to worry about them getting jealous over attention, because you're not going to give them any attention. You're just going to be walking. Do you walk them beside each other or opposite sides? I'm not talking about a regular walk. That ain't going to do it, in my opinion. That may be on some very low level, but I'm talking about off leash. I'm talking about they have freedom, a lot of freedom of getting away from each other. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. No barriers. And I said drag a long line, but not holding it. So dragging a long line so that they can have the ability to go away. And that's the you want to give your dogs affection. That's what you should provide your dogs right there. That's affection in my mind. More of that and less touchy-feely, kissy stuff. More of that, okay? And I bet you if you provide that, shoot, they may be too tired to even fight in the house. And they'll be more likely to listen in the house. So check those off the list if your dogs are fighting. Make sure you are giving that dog ample enough of exercise and mental stimulation. And there's nothing better than a pack walk. If dogs were wild, they would be migrating for a long time. So there's nothing more bonding than you out with your dogs exploring. So that's what you should do. Get them out. Get them out in the wild. Let them have some freedom. I'm telling you, that's a really good way to repair a relationship once it's damaged. Okay? So remember, that is a very big focus and important part. Because, again, I also do a good job of getting onto them very sternly if there's even an evil eye. That's how you prevent fights, help learn, and let the dog know that it's not worth it to fight. Okay? I'm never going to leave something, an ill thought, unaddressed, ever. Okay? Because if you address those signs early on, and you know sort of when to expect it. For example, if I'm petting one dog and another dog starts to come over there, as I'm petting the dog, I'm assuming that the other dog is going to come over there, and I'm going to shoot the dog away. Okay? Because I know that's already has been an issue. All right. Do pack walks work the same way with herding dogs? Taking mine out for an unleashed walk means just constant circles around me. Yeah, I would definitely say that I've worked with many a herding dog. I've got an Australian Shepherd now, and the dog. I had one Shepherd actually that would always circle me, but I have a pet convincer, and I just, sprayed it as the dog was coming around, and it kind of just stopped that behavior. I also had a Shepherd that did that too, but I really didn't care about the circling because it's not that big a deal, especially because the German Shepherd circles were real big, so I didn't mind it. German Shepherds are notorious for that crap, though. And as I'm sure you know, your dogs are the same way. But no, then the German Shepherd lost interest in doing that and would start to sniff other smells, things like that. So that kind of subsided. So, all right. So that's that. Two things. Remember, relationship, repairing relationships, and getting dogs to be calm when you want. If you've got those things, if you've got that checked off, that first thing, getting dogs calm when you want, you're well on your way of repairing the relationship. Okay, because so again, the reasons why dogs continue to get into fights after that initial big fight is because of lack of trust, and it could just be a dog walking by another dog that sets it off. It could also be someone that knocks on the door. Now, there's a lot of dogs that try to control the other dog for that reason. They try to control because they're insecure, especially female dogs. I think I've had a lot the last few times dogs or I've worked with fighting dogs. It's always been a female trying to control the situation, whether it be fence fighting, the female attacks the dog if they're both barking. Whether it be somebody walking in and they get too hyper, female attacks the other dog. So you have to also evaluate how controlling your female is, because I deal with a lot of female dogs who are dog aggressive because they take their insecurity out by trying to control each and every dog. Okay, so that means this: when my dogs are playing, right? My dogs start to play. So first and foremost, I'll just say this real quick: when I bring a dog in to my place, my dogs are calm. But when a few sessions have happened, so then I start to allow my dogs to play a little bit more, and every single time, without fail, the female dog that I'm working with, or the aggressive dog that I'm working with, will try to go right over there and attack my dogs. They want to try and control it. That's how they deal with, because they're insecure of my dogs playing, and they're not sure of the situation. That's what they do to control it. So keep that in mind as a means to help prevent dog fighting. When things get crazy, when things maybe get hyper, watch what your female does. Does she have to be involved? Does she have to be first out of the door? Does she have to be assertive? Watch what your dog is doing, and be able to squash it right there. For example, I've got a female dog, and yesterday we were doing some socialization between the Australian Shepherd and my two males. The 9-month Australian Shepherd's name is Hank. They're all playing very well, and my female wants to go over there. I know she doesn't like playing, and I said, "You're not going over there, because I know what you're going to try and do. You're going to be mean to that puppy, not in a bad way, but she doesn't want to play. She's old. She just wants to stop it, and it's like, go lay down, So evaluate how controlling your dog is, right? And you then have to know that you have to be in control early on before the fight happens, because it's dang easier to stop a fight before it happens versus when it's happening. It's virtually impossible. So, can you touch on a large dog's preying smaller dogs? That's a problem with mine as well. They chase and torment little dogs like prey. I wouldn't allow that to happen. I would do a lot of impulse control. I would have my dogs not play and have the little dog be able to do what it wants, just kind of trapping around. But I would help my dogs learn to cope with those sort of those impulses, right? If that's what that is, if that's what they're reacting towards, then they have to be able to learn how to control themselves. And you can do that just by working with squirrels. too. You know, so so my dogs are they can get along with any dog, size, breed, gender, sex, whatever, um, that I bring in because um, they know that they have to, but now they've learned to deal with it to the point where they don't even have interest. So it's all about teaching your dog just to be in that environment and for long enough for them to be able to just lose the need, the reaction of what they do when they see a small dog. All right. Hope that helps. All right. A few more things about dog fighting. If you guys have multiple questions, feel free. You can ask as many as you want. But you guys have any questions so far about what I've said? Because I've said a lot. So feel free to ask. We are here to discuss. It's not easy dealing with fighting dogs for anyone. It's not easy. It sucks if you have to break up a dog fight. It sucks. Okay? Okay. Do you recommend using the e-collar at times then? At all times? The e-collar is a great tool to use when the dog's off leash to communicate with them. Period. Yeah, and also remember to avoid that. Now, that's a good question. How do you sort of stop dogs from being collar smart? I just trained a corgi that the parent said would shut down when they put the e-collar on. And I'm like, all right, well, then we have to start making good memories with the e-collar on. The dog really likes the ball, so we put the e-collar on, threw the remote away, and just started playing ball with the e-collar on. Because the e-collar should not just be a negative tool. It should also be something that just communicates, not punishes, teaches, learns. No, not even learning. Proof what it already knows. The dog knows what not to do, so the dog should just listen because of it. But it's not a punishment tool. It's a tool to communicate. Okay, so it doesn't matter when dogs leave here. All of them are e-collar trained. They're the same way as if it was off. Okay, because it's just a tool, it's not, and it's a tool that's used in substitute, and it's a supplement to you. Okay, you can't be less than the tool in the dog's mind. So, how do you get that? Because I can get what I got, the behavior that I get without an e-collar, but that may mean you have to get up more, right? What do we use an e-collar for most of the time? Let's see. Come, no, don't do that, down, whatever. You can fix all that without the e-collar. So the tools should never be bigger than the respect the dog has for you. You should be primary. The tools are secondary. But when the tools become primary, that's when they can be negatively conditioned for with those tools. All right, so you don't even have to use it. Again, just create good memories with the e-collar. Put it on, just hang out, play ball, things like that. All right. Amy says, my dogs love their e-collars Because to them, it means we're going somewhere and having some fun. They're going to be off leash and free to kick up their heels. That said, it is there if needed. It's an extension of the leash. Yep. So that means you've conditioned your dog correctly about the e-collar. It's never a punishment tool. There's tons of people, the average pet owner, gets it because the dog is doing something wrong, not because they want to, communicate with their dog away from you. So it's just important to remember. And again, we as people put so many tools as the main means to get your dog to behave, but it's secondary. Your word means more than any tool could ever provide, and the tool is only there temporarily, should be, to help the dog. Take your word for it. When I say come, come. If you don't, e-collar. That's it. So the next time I say come, I shouldn't have to use e-collar. That's dog training. These are all training tools. They're not forever. All right? My dogs do not wear any of that because they come. And if they don't come, then I come and get them. And so anyway, all right, I got some questions to ask. I'm going on a rant. Gotta slow down. Do you recommend using? No. Mine. All right. If a dog fight occurs, what is the proper way to separate them? Woo! Good question. It's going to take a while. Let me take a sip first. Woo! All right. I've broken up some fights in my day, working at the dog daycare many years ago. So the best way to break up a dog fight is to never grab, go for the head, the collars, nowhere near their teeth. Okay, try your best to do that, to not do that. Go for the feet, have someone else, and go for the back legs and pull them apart. Okay, remember, be careful with that, because you may have a dog that comes back and bites you. So a better way would probably be to get some water, splash it on them. Get a horn helps. A doggy don't helps. There's different tools that you can use that may be able to just break focus. Some work. Sometimes they work. Sometimes they don't. But be careful. Either way, there's plenty of people that call me that say their dog lashed out and bit them while they're fighting. And everyone says the dog didn't mean to bite them. And it's like bull crap. There are dogs that when they're fighting, they're still very conscious. They're not robots. Just because they don't listen doesn't mean they can't. Because I've broken up dog fights with my voice. Okay? So there's dogs that are still have the ability to listen, and so when they choose to bite, it's because they don't really care not to, and some dogs will feel guilty for doing that, but there's still a lot of choices being made. You know what I mean? I know a dog definitely knows the difference between biting in flesh and not, because I've worked with dogs trained to bite sleeves and material that they can bite, and a lot of them, when you stick your hand in their mouth, they'll stop biting. They won't bite. So there's a conscious, there's still a thinking dog in the midst of a fight. So anyway, if you want to take a step further in your safety when breaking up a fight, grab a leash, put the clip between the or in the handle of the hole. First put it around their waist, and then make a sort of like a sling, and then pull them apart like that. Always go for the aggressor, the one who starts it, because usually there's one that's just defending themselves, and they will be glad to stop if you take away the aggressor. So go after the dog who started it, the punk, the sassy one, and get that dog apart. Now the dog that the dog that's defending themselves may want to say, I want to get some get back here, man. So he might come back maybe, but sometimes you may be able to just stop a fight just by stopping the aggressor. All right. Great question. That's the short answer. There's many ways. Just be safe. That's all. Okay, Jen says, if an insecure dog fights, what should we do to get it to gain confidence in these situations besides being a good leader? So what you have to do is, if dogs fight anyway, insecure or not, because a dog's going to be insecure if they fight, is be able to control both dogs. Once you can control both dogs, then they start to come out of their shell, right? They become more confident in the situation based on your ability to control the situation for long enough until they can establish a good relationship. So the dog that has, if a dog is afraid, you have to control that other dog. Look, that's the same thing with, with anything. With humans, with cats, with other dogs. If you can control those factors, then insecurity starts to become confidence, and they start to become confidence. But that takes time. Take your time, too. All right? But you just have to be in control. Now, if you can't stop your dog from doing something or break your dog from focusing on that other dog, then you must take it a step further and have a tool in your hand in the form of a pet convincer, a doggy don't, a squirt bottle, have an e-collar on the dog, something, a dressage whip, something to be able to gain control before something crazy happens. If you think they're thinking ill thoughts, you must intervene. Okay? Don't underestimate that. Some people do. A lot of people give them too much freedom, and then that's when the bad decisions, in our mind, they're bad decisions. In their mind, I don't think that they think that. But that's when bad decisions happen, if they have too much freedom. All right. Thank you for your question. So that's what it means to also be a good leader. Okay. That's what it means. All right. Well, I'll end it here. 5 minutes. We got 5 more minutes. I'll just talk about just reiterate what I think the keys to victory are when it comes to dog fighting. Okay. Again, your ability to keep dogs under control and keep them calm and get them calm is going to be huge. Dogs never fight over nothing. It's always over something. It's never unpredictable. Ever. It doesn't matter if, there are people that I've talked to that, the dog does this 1,000 times. But listen, each and every time, so this is just an example. Each and every time you open that door, and the sassy one, it doesn't really matter. Both dogs go out of the door, and they kind of bump each other. That could have been an annoying. Oh, here's a great example. I have clients that had 2 labradoodles, right? And they would fight. One would try to control the other when one squealed. And then the fights would happen randomly. But then I noticed how they played. One was kind of cool, calm, and on its own, and the other would just nag and nag and nag. Now, it is my opinion that those nags start to add up, and that one is like, okay, I'm now over this. Stop doing this. And that could happen, at the slightest bit of annoyance, which can mean they go into a door at the same time, they bump each other, and it's like, all right, it's on. And to the average pet owner, that's like, that came out of nowhere, No, but you don't remember. They were annoying, or the one dog was annoying the hell out of the other, and you did nothing, or you thought it was okay because the fights didn't happen in that moment. But the dog had enough of that annoyance and decided to take out its frustration then in that moment. So just because the fight happens in that moment doesn't mean that in the moment that's why the dogs fought. It could have been what has happened all day long. Okay, so remember that. That's very important when you try and tell people that it's never out of nowhere unless your dog is retarded. Or maybe I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say retarded. Maybe your dog is mentally ill or challenged. Then your dog should not fight for no reason whatsoever. All right? Keep them calm. Give them something to do. Take them on a nice long walk. Repair that relationship. Take your time. Allow their relationship to become secure again. But most importantly, keep them calm when you want them to be calm. Give them affection, one at a time. Never at the same time. Until they're really good. If ever. I don't do it now. I don't pet my dogs at the same time. And if I do, they've got to be extra calm. Okay? So, any last questions about that? Because otherwise, we gone. No? Alright, guys. If you got something positive out of this video, which I hope you did, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to share if you've got something out of it. I really appreciate the support. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I hope it helped. As I learn, you guys learn. I'm still going to always want to learn. So, yeah, take care of your dogs. Sally is paying attention. Good job, Sally. All right, guys. We'll see y'all next time. Jeremy Majors, Majors Academy Dog Training, Green Bay, Wisconsin. See you next time.